A fun story from my school years is that when I was about 7 years old, my dad was a high school principal, and he always came home. He brought home lots and lots of boxes with reams of paper.
What's a ream of paper?
A ream is the collective noun for paper. So lots of paper. So a ream, I think, consists of 500 pages, if I'm not mistaken. 500 sheets of paper is the collective noun would be a ream of paper. So my dad brought home boxes, different types of paper, different textures. I love the smell of paper, the feel of it. Yeah, I just loved it. He was obviously using it for printing documents and things like that, but I used to steal a little bit of paper, a few pages here and there, and I then would cut interesting fun shapes, maybe burn the edges. I was only 6. Yes, I was burning the edges, making it look really nice. Maybe this was my my gateway.
Your bug.
my gateway drug into, no, I'm kidding. I was so interested in turning these blank sheets of paper into something beautiful. So I would cut little shapes, I would draw images on the front of it, and then I decided to sell these beautiful books that I had created. So it'd be like a 20-page book, or maybe even like 10 only. But I stapled it, or I would tie it with string, and then kids at my school really wanted my books, and so I started selling them for like 10 cents each. 10 cents these days, I don't even think they exist. I don't think anyone uses 10 cents anymore. But back then, with my 10 cents, I could buy sweets, candy from the fence. There was a guy at high school who used to sell all kinds of yummy treats that kids love, like sherbet, chips, sweets, not good chocolate. None of it was great quality. So we're not talking quality chips, quality chocolate, quality sherbet. It was just yummy things that kids love.
There's so many, all those names are so different.
Really?
Ice lolly. What is an ice lolly?
Well, I said ice lolly because I thought that was what you would call it, but here we would call it a sucker.
That's a sucker.
Like a sucker. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think in the UK, ice lolly is a popsicle.
Yes,
popsicle, like it's frozen.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes,
like a lolly is
ice.
A lolly is a sucker, and a ice lolly is a popsicle.
Yes, so it's a combination. So it looks like it could be a sucker, like a sweet, but it's ice. So it's a ice lolly. But in this case, a sucker. That's what we would call it, a sucker.
Did you guys have snow cones?
No.
Snow cones, no. Do you know what that is?
I just saw that it's like crushed ice with syrup, like different flavors of sweet syrup.
That also reminds me of my childhood. That like you'd go to the pool and they sold. It wasn't a guy at the fence. It was like a stand of someone official from the pool that was selling shaved ice.
Someone official.
Keyword official.
Legitimate.
Well, it's really funny because the guy at the fence, it sounds very much like I don't know, like nowadays it'd be very like in the States, like stranger danger, like guy at the fence near a school, like who is this guy? Call the police. Like what are you doing creeping around the school? I
still don't know why the school did nothing about this man who was selling random things. He had different things every day, and most of it was like sealed, but a lot of it, like we had like gumballs, and he would take it with his hand and like hand it to you. You get 2
Hopefully
gumballs.
he washed them first.
That's the problem. I'll never know. We'll never have the answers.
Isn't it frustrating when you learn a new word and when it's time to finally speak English with someone, you completely forget it? Now, I find that the best solution for this is for you to use the new words you learn as soon as possible in conversation. But what do you do if you don't have anybody else to practice speaking with? That's exactly why we created the Real Life English app. With the app, you can have a short 4 to 8 minute conversation with any learner around the globe at the touch of a button. You can also listen to the Real Life English podcast on the app with Ethan and myself. And the cool thing is that we give you an interactive transcript so you can read and follow along the episodes, and some flashcards for you to memorize words faster. And the cool thing is that the app is free to download and try. I'm gonna leave the link to the app right here in the description of this video. You can click here to download, or you can go to Google Play Store, Apple App Store, search for Real Life English and download the app from there. Give it a try. I'm sure you will love it. Now let's get back to the lesson.
So you guys never had people selling things at the fence when you guys were kids?
Not at the fence, but at the corner, like by the corner of the street, and or in front of the school gate. It was actually common. Yeah.
Do you have like a name for that person? Like
We do in Portuguese. I would call it. Let me see if I can translate that in English to English. Maybe a walking salesman or a walking salesperson.
Like a hawker?
Yeah.
a hawker.
Yeah.
Is that what you call
Not
it?
walker.
Hawker.
Hawker.
Like they're hawking their goods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Portuguese translation would be that, a walking salesman, something like that. Because you don't have a store or a stand. We're walking around, moving around and selling stuff. You are walking or moving. Do you want me to say in Portuguese?
Sure.
Vendedor ambulante. Vendedor is the salesperson.
That's literally
Ambulante,
salesperson walking.
a person who moves around, walks around. Yeah?
Here we have, I think it's not a great term. There's like manteros, like it comes from the blankets because they sell goods on blankets, but it's not candy. It's usually like very common, for example, by the beach. There's a lot of them that sell sunglasses and they're called manteros because they have the mantas, is a blanket. Because if the police come, like one of them will signal and they'll wrap everything up in the blanket and like run so that they don't get fined.
Oh.
But I think it's not. It's maybe not the most PC term, politically correct term for those walking salesmen.
Okay.
Informal traders. Like that's what they're called here. I just realized. So informal traders, you don't have an actual business. It's just like I sell if I want to, when I want to. Unfortunately, this guy, or the guys, it wasn't just one school, guys. Like I always bought sweets from different guys at different schools. They're just like the uncle. We're just always, oh, uncle, can I have 2 packets of chips, please? I mean, I know, Thiago, you and I both, obviously, in our school days, we had people selling candy and other goods outside the school. But these guys selling candy and other goods to kids have been accused of selling candy that is actually drugs, or drugs that look like candy. Or I could even say candy laced with drugs.
Oh, what does it mean
Yeah.
if something is laced with something? Usually this refers to drugs, right? So if a drug is, something's laced with drugs, what does that mean?
It means that it is like hidden, like it's covered with drugs in a way that it's not obvious. Like you wouldn't necessarily notice it immediately. So in terms of the candies, yeah, this was quite a common thing. And the drug, I feel like you guys might have heard about this, I'm not sure, but the drug was called flakka. It's been said to turn these kids into zombies. So they move like zombies. Zombies are known for having, rage attacks, and these kids would then have these weird outbursts. And yeah, it's quite a scary situation. I still don't know if it's true, but it has been reported to be true in our local news, so I don't know.
I think Ice-T actually found a news story on this, so maybe we could roll that.
Take a look here at what police say they found during a drug bust in South Florida. 2 bags of flakka, but they're designed to look like Sour Patch Kid candies. Yeah, Miami-Dade police tested this bogus candy, discovered it was the dangerous synthetic drug known as flakka. 1 dose can cost as little as $5. Users can be up for days with intense, often psychotic behavior. Many people are sharing this warning on our WPTV Facebook page tonight. Michael, police are worried that this kind of packaging could lure younger users, and that's definitely something parents need to know about.
So, do you guys know what Sour Patch Kids are?
No, I've only ever seen it in movies, and I really want to try them. I love gummy. They're gummies, right?
They're gummies,
gummy
yeah.
candies.
What is a gummy?
A gummy candy is a soft, chewy. It's made of gelatin, I would guess.
But the Sour Patch Kids, so they're Sour Patch Kids because it's like a sweet gummy, and it's covered with like we were talking before about, you called sherbet, right? Like the citric acid or something. It's covered in something sour, so it has that sweet and sour thing that like makes you like pucker your lips, right? But yeah, I grew up with those things, Sour Patch Kids. So that's kind of scary, like having them being laced with drugs, you know?
Yeah.
There was some interesting vocabulary that she used here. So she mentioned that there was a drug bust where they found these laced Sour Patch Kids, right? What's a drug bust?
So a drug bust would be a planned or an organized police raid. Yeah, so the police would, organize or strategize around catching criminals at a particular time in a particular place. Yeah.
People have probably seen this on different I think there's even some examples of this in Breaking Bad. It's been a long time I haven't seen it, but there must be some drug bust scene, right? She said something about the bogus candies, something like that. But what does bogus mean?
If something is
Nonsense,
bogus, it's
yeah.
utter nonsense. But I just want to comment on bust, because I think the bust is the important part. So when you bust someone, you catch them. Yeah, you busted, I caught you.
You guys both have got young children, so that might be a part of your vocabulary you're using more and more as they grow up, right?
Yeah.
Things
Bust
they
them
shouldn't be
listening
doing.
to hard rock music.
See? You're listening to that. You're grounded.
What does that mean if you tell your kid you're
But
grounded?
Dad!
Yeah, when the kid is punished without no TV and no phone for, I don't know, a few weeks or a month, right?
Maybe we need to do another podcast episode on our stories of being grounded. I don't know if that happened to you. I was definitely
me
grounded
too.
a couple times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So coming back to the story, users can be up for days. So what does it mean if you're up?
Does it like to be awake?
To be awake, yeah. It's like a drug that I think, like Cassie was saying, they probably are zombies just because they're strung out. They're not sleeping. She was saying it's something about it being scary because it looks like candy. It looks like Sour Patch Kids, right? So it could lure younger users. What does it mean if you lure someone?
I love this word because I always think of the witch, alluring the kids to her house, like, "Hello, little ones, come here. I have some delicious treats for you."
Oh, that voice is amazing.
So yeah, when something that lures you, yeah, it attracts you, yeah, and you the kids, they are lured or attracted by the candy, like, "Oh, this looks so nice, colorful, and delicious. I want to have it. I want to taste it," right? So you are lured to try the candy in this case, or you are lured into the witch's house.
And then finally, the guy, I think it was the man at the end, says something like, "Be on the lookout. Parents better be on the lookout for people selling these laced Sour Patch Kids."
Yeah, so when someone is on the lookout, when they need to be on the lookout, they need to be aware of what's happening. So, pay attention, be on the lookout. If your kid comes home with some Sour Patch Kids candy, maybe just check it. Take it away from them, have it tested, and then... No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. I think in this case, he's just telling parents to be aware, be alert, pay attention to this problem. If your kid had, the candy and you're wondering, why is my kid acting like a zombie? It's probably because of this.
A bad batch of Sour Patch Kids. So, your guys' stories about, you were talking about the walking salesman or the uncle selling candies right outside the fence. For me, these are kind of shocking because in the States, our parents always tell us don't talk to strangers,
Hey, so this is the end of this lesson. But if you enjoyed learning English vocabulary and pronunciation with it, you should know that this clip was just a part of an episode of the Real Life English podcast. And we release a new episode every week. So come check it out right now by clicking here on this video.